following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another beautiful edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host, the koala bear of Wall Street, until I find a better animal that suits my personality. But always squeezably soft. Anyway, we've got a market that is trying to go higher here. A lot of mixed signals when I'm looking at some stocks. We've just dipped under 1870 for the day, 2.2 billion shares. Again, I'm looking for 4.5 to 5.5 billion shares to signal a breakout of higher levels that is going to stick. Looks like we're probably going to end up with about 3.2, 3.3 billion shares on the New York Stock Exchange consolidated tape. And just not enough juice. But, yeah, we'll see what happens here today. Seeing a lot of stocks bounce very high today. A lot of juice. Some of them that trade million and a half shares with... I don't know, 20,000 shares in the first couple hours. A lot of people, they're holding the price up. Of course, this is the last day of fund buying for most funds. Maybe be a trickle tomorrow. There's no real penalty if they don't do it, but a lot of money managers don't like fund managers doing that. So for the most part, they'll buy today if they're going to buy at all. But we really need to be watching this volume into the end of the day, and also how this market comes. Of course, anything probably below 1865 would be yet another sell signal. I'm thinking we need a new abbreviation for that. Yet another sell signal. Yes, yet another sell signal. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. We're going to be calling it yes. Yet another sell signal. And anyway, we'll be watching for that through the end of the day. And as always, we go to our correspondent. And that correspondent today, of course, is Sammy Hagar. And Sammy, he's pretty much one way. He thinks we're going higher and higher. And, of course, to tell you the truth, it's hard to find a bear anywhere, which always makes me nervous. But certainly at these highs and the endless procession of people telling everybody to buy always makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. On this day in 1957, Standard & Poor's Corporation introduced a new stock index, which it initially calls the Standard 500 Index. Now known as the S&P 500, this index used a scientific weighting formula that enables investors to measure the movement in the total value of most of America's major stocks. So, 1957. Good day. Anyway, we're going to go to charts fairly soon, or quickly today. And you can certainly give me a call at 877-927-6648. I'd appreciate your call. Now all I got to do is find my charts, and we'll be glad to start looking at some of this stuff. Of course, today, a lot of the stuff that is moving is the same stuff that was moving yesterday. But other than, what is it, YNBX, other than the usual suspects that we saw yesterday, it is, just a bounce in what probably looks like a downtrend. Yandex, of course, is one just came down with monstrous volume yesterday. A little higher today, but selling off. And my guess is that this thing is going to continue to sell off. Again, all these stocks with lots of Russian exposure, like Yandex. I can't remember Yandex, and I think this is the eBay of this is the Google of Russia. The other one is QIWI, which is more like the eBay of Russia. Anyway, supposedly for all the problems being over, these stocks certainly are not responding that differently than you think they would be. Of course, most of the people on Wall Street saying, probably time to get out of Russia and probably into China if you want something just a little bit more stable. And we're seeing that today. Quaihu 360, which is QIHU, he said, up and having a nice little bounce today. This one's even seeing higher volume than yesterday, which closed higher than yesterday, closed up even yesterday. So kind of interesting moves in some of these. No real sell signal, at least in these Chinese internet stocks so far. What else did we have up here? ISRG. One of the stocks not participating, ISRG, is Intuitive Surgical, as we come back up. And this is kind of an interesting stock today. Let's see. But one of the few that's down, and of course, if you're going to short Intuitive Surgical, I know a lot of people want to. I mean, it probably doesn't get any better than this. You've got two legs, especially even if you don't look at this monstrous gap out here. What you wanted to see was a lot of volume as it broke the previous high, which is January 21st. And you had 1.9 million shares there. Yesterday, you break and close higher than that previous high with 687,000 shares. And, of course, that huge gap down came on 5.5, almost 5.6 million shares back on, what was that, June 9th of last year. So, I mean, if you are playing this long, you probably got everything you should have gotten, and not really, after yesterday's volume, is this a big surprise. Now, one of the things I do like, if you are looking at the short side of Intuitive Surgical here, is the amount is the energy in the first leg from December 17th at $351 up to this high of January 21st at $447.50. You get back down to the next leg that starts on February 3rd at $396.66 up to yesterday's high. And if you're looking on Tiger TV, you're going to see my Power Law Vector indicator number showing that the energy, although the dollar move was just about the same, the energy is about half. Be very, very wary of ISRG out here and some of these other stocks that have similar patterns, which is a lot of volume on that first leg, decent volume on the pullback, and then the volume just dying on the way back up here, coming into a gap with a very, very light volume. So there's some stocks to be very wary of. And let's see. Well, I think I've got my chart up there. We'll look at some other ones. I said random people. Okay. What else do we have in here? You are into the gap? Yeah, certainly are. Okay. Just mumbling to myself as I read the din. But it certainly is at that gap going to be one that I'm watching. If I got everything set up. Okay, we got several minutes left out here. AutoZone came out with earnings last night. I was going to be very surprised of how AutoZone did just because Kramer was pumping it for 2 days in front of earnings and said you had to own it. And let's see what we have here. AZO. It's down $5. I thought it was rather interesting to see that this was the must-buy on earnings. I guess it was down lower this morning. Still off significantly. And, of course, this is going to tell us a little bit about how many people are buying new cars and not buying parts anymore. AutoZone, not too far from me, actually. I went up there to get some car parts the other day. Service with a scowl, but at least they have the parts. And it's interesting. Anyway, AutoZone, I'm going to call this probably, if the market wasn't up as strongly as it was today, we'd probably see it trading around 525 today. And I haven't gone through the earnings, but certainly the reaction is not what you would want, and going to be very interesting to see how Kramer's people that he pushed this into the last few days react. Someone who was watching this a little closer, but maybe they washed them out this morning. But it is going to be interesting. Okay, what else do I have up here? Let's go back to all the stuff on my list. We got gold off. Let's take a quick look at GLD. Come on, GLD. There we go. Come on, come to Papa. Let's get that data going. Come on. There we go. And, we had that nice gap up yesterday in GLD. It's kind of getting a little filled here today. But when we look at gold itself, what is it off? $11 or something. Still looks like a fifth wave in an Elliott wave formation where you really don't get any huge pullbacks in this thing that last and continue up. I have a feeling that gold is telling us that the market is probably close to some kind of peak. And we're going to be watching the S&P here for the rest of the day very closely. See what else we had. IWM, request from the den. IWM. And, of course, you can always call me at 877-927-6648 or email me at path@tfnn.com. And certainly the IWM out here, when we look at it, is it's up. Volume needs to be 31 million shares. You certainly have that on the Russell Index. I probably found a lot of people that were short this thing to maybe push them out here tonight. But we'll see. Anyway, I wanted to check the index just real quick and see how we are continuing to do. Okay, 1872.27 billion shares. So still going to be a little light unless something drastically changes. Let's see. Short MA now. I've never won to short. Ooh, this is interesting. MasterCard. Okay. Had a huge gap down. Coming back into this gap. What do you have? 5.9 million shares, 3 million shares today. 5.8. Well, it looks pretty interesting. We'll be back and look at MasterCard here in just a minute.
If you're new to TFNN, then you've probably heard some of our hosts and traders talk about the exciting charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. Tuesday, March 11th at 6:30 p.m., Dave White and Tom O'Brien will be hosting a live study session for anyone with a subscription to this exciting charting program. During this hour-long online workshop, Dave and Tom will lead a brief presentation along with taking questions from those that attend. Right now, we have a great deal for all new subscribers. You can sign up for the Art of Timing the Trade Charts and get your first entire month for only $1 while gaining access to this live event with Tom O'Brien and Dave White. For more information on how this exciting charting program works, you can click on the Charts button on the front page of TFNN.com today and check out some of the videos that walk you through a variety of the features included. Sign up now by taking advantage of this exciting offer for just $1 before it's too late. Visit TFNN.com today.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the signal box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And it looks like we need to tidy up TFNN because we're going to have a special guest in the next hour. I'll talk a little bit more about that after the next break. But I've given Andy Heck the permission to kill anybody if they say, good to be seen. So maybe that's a little hint out there of who's coming next. But anyway, looking at MasterCard, question in the den from Pete D about whether you would short MasterCard here. And boy, I have to say, if volume remains light today, this certainly looks like a good setup. Probably the only thing I would say I dislike about it is you're only going to get about $6 to the downside on this, maybe 6.5. I just think right now they're probably better short setups than MasterCard, but it certainly does look like it's going to go back and test 71.75 area. So probably not a bad setup out here, and certainly very interesting. I wonder what kind of economic changes would make MasterCard so weak here at a market high, but interesting nonetheless. Let's go back and look at some of the other stuff on my list. Let's see what else we got. That okay, 225. Okay, 2.3 billion shares. So volume, getting ready, close to go. 2.3 billion shares. Volume really slowing down here in the first 20 minutes of the show, so it's going to be very interesting. So I'll look at a few other stocks out here. What else did I have on my list of things to look at? SRG, AU, downgraded. Ooh, how could they do such something? Let's take a quick look at that. I know everybody's looking at this. It is really hadn't broken the downtrend out here, and volume's fairly light. Let's see what they say here. Downgraded from sell at UBS. Doesn't say why, but tell you what, until these things break some kind of trend line out here, these things look like they could just continue to run and run and run, and just off $11 on the actual gold contract now doesn't make me feel real ready to say that this thing is ready to pull back or break. CLF. This is what is really confusing me at market highs, that we can see something like Continental Resources or Cliffs Naturals or some of these other stocks, which is the one I wanted to look at, CLF, and see these things. But this thing's going to break down. It's going to go below these previous lows. Let's take a little closer look at here. I mean, you needed less than 8.8 million shares. Pretty much have that already today. So certainly it looks like some of these big stocks out here are going to be blowing through these lows anytime soon. With another hour to go, it just doesn't look like we've got a lot of industrial might going on here. See if there's anything else. IRE, another mover out here. Okay. Governor Bank of Ireland. Yeah, that's, yeah, we can say it's off a little bit. Let's see anything else out here. We looked to Europe to see what's going on. UK's FTSE was up 1.7%. Germany's DAX up 2.5%. CAC was up 2.5%. Spain 2.5%. Portugal 2.5%. Italy 3.6%. So pretty much everything moving fairly strongly overseas. They had kind of the same thing, though. I didn't see a lot of volume in what they were doing. Wanted to look at a few stocks today to see how they were doing. One is a Global Payments. I had this in the newsletter. It did go above at the previous high of January 15th. $70.32 with 940,000 shares on that January 15th high. Yesterday, 622,000. Today, 344,000. But it may close above that $70.32 high in Global Payments. Symbol is GPN on that. So I'm watching that. Energy wasn't all that exciting on this leg back up, but it wasn't something I'd pull the trigger on shorting. I think that there's better things out here. JK Solar, another one of these solar stocks. Oh, there we go. Trying to come back a little bit. We'll be back in just a minute or two. You can call me at 877-927-6648, or you can email me at path@tfnn.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, I said I would talk up Andy Hecht's guest today. It is Dennis Gartman, and I gave him my permission, and I called the Secretary of State and the War Department and the Justice Department and got a papal blessing that since he's doing a radio interview on the telephone, that if Dennis Gartman says it's good to be seen, we can do what needs to be done. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, he's going to be on, of course, kind of a big guy in the commodity sector. So, nice guest for Andy Hecht to have on. So we'll look forward to that in the next hour, especially since we're going to be coming down the stretch, as it were, and looking at this market. And again, just checking to see whether we got the kind of volume to make this thing stick at 1871 and change, 2.36 billion shares. Boy, volume has gone light in this show. Anyway, we're going to look at a few more stocks, and then hopefully somebody will call. My like level bops up and dot quite a bit. Okay. Well, I can't do anything about that at the moment. What else do we have? Okay. New Link Genetics. That didn't have to be that. Maybe it was something else. Signature Bank, SBNY. I've been kind of watching this one here. Probably starting to see some weakness in some of these stocks that have gapped up, probably getting ready to pull back and start filling some of these gaps. SBNY had a huge move on the 21st of January, we're going to call it 1.5 billion shares. Came back in, tested the bottom of that candle on February 4th, light volume 680,000 shares. What I'm kind of concerned on is this January 22nd high at 129.83. Getting tested here today with 280,000 shares. So, fourth of the volume right now. A lot of these stocks, like I said, somewhat problematic. GPN is another one. This thing was attacking some of the highs. And as we look at that, we already covered that, global payments. Let's look at some other ones from yesterday. Where's my yesterday list? We'll see how some of these other ones did. CPHD. And most of these stocks that did test, this is pretty much the same pattern as we just looked at, where you get these big shots, huge moves. This case in CPHD, the 31st of January, huge rocket up on huge volume of 2.9 million shares on January 31st. Got into it on the 25th with 1 million shares, so about a third of the volume. This thing's been kind of rolling over slowly. I think a lot of these could just have a nice rest over the next few weeks, trying to consolidate some of those moves. HD, another one I wanted to see how it was doing today. I was actually in there at lunch picking up some cutoff wheels for my RotoZip, if you know what cutoff wheels are, and a RotoZip. But it was interesting. HD, of course, this high that everything's pretty much set up is on the November 19th high, $82.27, 12 million shares. Tried to get on it, on January 2nd, 4.4 million shares. Now it's back into there today, 9.7 million shares. So you only need about just 4 million shares today. Would have 9.7 million shares when it went after it on the, the 26th. Had a nice gap up today, 4 million shares. So a lot of these things just kind of, not saying that they're going to blow up, but certainly look like they have lighter volume. VMW. Got a question on VMW, which is a VMware. Okay. Well, you got good volume, and this thing's up at the highs. I don't know whether or not he's long or not, but we'll take a look. 3.1, 3 million. Well, you'd want this thing to close over 101.52 today, interesting move out here. Certainly, you'd want a little more than 3.1 million shares, but there's a lot weaker stocks out there. IVV. Another one on my list here. And it is, what can you say? Index fund, the S&P 500. Take a look at this thing. Hang on just a second. So I got very slow internet today. Let's look at Lennar then. Okay, Lennar. Boy, this thing getting ready to come back up here at its highs. It's down today. Kind of interesting. I think actually if we go back and look at this a little longer, it's banging up against a previous high. Get a check here. Yeah, it is. It's got all these 43 and 44 highs out here. So when we look at this thing, it needs, the March 20th high, 9.8 million shares. So it's going to be a little light out there. Not a whole lot of movement in that today. I want to look at it, Apple, AAPL. Kind of interesting that a lot of these real high flyers not doing a whole lot or weren't doing a lot earlier today. And still seeing, could be that we're still way in that. Hang on just a second. Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah. You can still have an ABC down intact. It would take us back to at least that 496. I don't see a whole lot in here. Certainly light volume, but a lot of these high flyers like that, like Tesla, you should see these things bouncing $20, $30 again on a move like we've seen today, and I just don't see that in Tesla so much. I mean, it's back up here at these highs, but pretty light volume so far. So getting a little thin on these things. We may be a day away if we're going to have yet another major turn or attempt to go down. SCO. See if anybody has anything here. This is crude. And I think you've got at least a... No, you don't. You still need to test 2651 on SCO, and that will be interesting. Energy is about the same as it is down. Yesterday we had a caller who was talking about going short natural gas, and I said, well, if we have a nice little bounce off of our actual pullback in crude as we did today, let's see, we're off of what? $1.67. So we're probably going to see natural gas move up here today, and thought that we could still look at least on UNG for somewhere in that 26 and a half level to maybe short natural gas. Getting a little long on the vine in the season. As soon as the weather starts turning warm, this thing probably going to go back to around 22 and a half. I think it's probably a pretty good bet that you could find that. You've had your blow off top, and now you're just trying to hang your hat on somewhere that you could get back up in a 50% retracement. We'll just use UNG here because it's easy. But let's take a look at retracement here. And we'll set that as A. So, yeah, 2630 would be a 50% retracement. 2668 would be your 618. So somewhere in that area, 2630 to 2668 on UNG would set up probably where you would want to get into and take a chance on going short natural gas as the weather does warm up here over the next few days. UTX, I want to see how this thing reacts over the news we had. Everybody was ready to go to war last night. Not so much today. Certainly this one is testing its previous high. Looks like it's going to close back below it. United Technologies, UTX, January 22nd, $118.20, 5 million shares. Got in today with 3.3 million shares. So we're going to be watching that somewhat today. Okay. Have you heard of a push to get Apple and other smartphones to add kill switch, a rash of stealing phones, and homicides? Yes, in fact, we talked about that 2 weeks ago on the Tech Insider with Tom O'Brien. I figured it would be very easy to hack and turn everybody's phones off. And most of the phones, anyway, that are stolen are instantly shipped across the ocean, where the kill switch thing is probably not going to do any good anyway. So a lot of good ideas, but probably not going anywhere. In fact, all the telecom companies say it's rather stupid. So peek the question out there. No, there wouldn't be much cost to doing it, just a bad idea. You didn't see anything. Okay. We looked at VMW. We looked at that. I don't see any phone calls here. So we're going to get back to looking at my list of stuff. But I tell you what, UTX, I'd like a little bit more downside if this market was going to fall apart. But I tell you what, some of these patterns are looking fairly strong out here for light volume tops in some of these stocks. Varian Medical Systems, another one up here on very light volume over the last few days. I got to take a small drink here of some great sun tea. Anyway, looking at the previous high on January 23rd of 2.3 million shares at $84.24, getting into that on the 28th. going above it, closing back below it, kind of coming up against that again today with a 241,000 shares. That's what I'm just saying. There's just a ton of these stocks out here hitting previous highs on the light volume. And here's the Vanguard Total World Stock ETF. Talk about three dojis. This thing likes to throw dojis off here. High volume, but not holding any highs out here. What do we have up here? 711,000 shares so far today. Yeah, it's got volume. Question is whether or not it can hang out here into the close. Let's see what else we have. Let's take a look at NetSuite. And this is one, again, that didn't have a lot of volume, broke through its previous high. It's come back, trying to come back up again today. Very light volume. Keying off the January 31st high at 117, 2 million shares, got into it with 710,000 shares, immediately reverses and goes back into the trading zone, down a little bit yesterday, back up today, but 312,000 shares so far, just continues to look rather weak. And let's see if I'm going to check my email here. Okay, pizza. Okay, Netflix, LinkedIn, LNKD. And we'll get that up. And see what we have here. Who's this? Okay, Wayne is asking about LinkedIn. They had a nice little run off the bottom on talking up their China trade, but I think that their bearish sentiments in the last conference call and their earnings statement probably going to have this thing fairly range bound, but certainly looks like this thing could be an ABC down. Certainly looks like it wants to test the 185 now finally, and yeah, if you did a expansion, let's see where this thing would end up on the downside. See if we got the other side of that now. Let's look at a little bit bigger thing out here. If this is an ABC down on that, of course, if I was going to short something, it would be Facebook. It wouldn't be LinkedIn. LinkedIn actually does make money correctly, and not a lot of people complaining. If you did get an ABC down on LinkedIn, your target would be 168.05. Let's see if there's anything else out there. 168.05. Okay, you're just below a couple of gaps. 160.20 on the June 5th low out here. Yeah, probably 170, 160. I just don't get a lot of. We'd really have to have this market really turn around to continue doing that. But I think you could see 185 on LinkedIn. I don't think that would be so big. OEF, S&P 100. And this is another one up here in this ETF structure with very light volume today. January 15th, we saw $82.41, 4.2 million shares on the OEF, 1.3 million shares. So we got a few ETFs with higher volume, a lot of ETFs without any volume. OEF without. We'll be back in just a minute.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, of course, we've got Andy Hecht with a special guest after my show. And that special guest does a couple things. One, he says it's good to be seen, which I need to discuss with him. And the second thing that he says a lot is that he buys gold in terms of Japanese yen. And I would love Andy to ask him if there's any difference between buying gold with a yen hedge and in terms of yen. If it's just a hedge, then I'd say I'm buying gold with a yen hedge. So maybe there's a difference, maybe there isn't. But I know his guest says it regularly. So maybe we could ask those two things, and I'd be happy. I'd be content. I'd have a good dinner tonight, and it would settle well. Anyway, looking forward to Dennis Gartman here in the next hour on TFNN. And, of course, with my stalker, who's only allowed to stalk me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, still hasn't told me whether he's ever made it to Batista's hole in the wall there in Las Vegas to check it out. But maybe he can, maybe he has, and he just hasn't told me yet. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Anyway, going to look at a few other stocks out here in play and see if we can make out anything and take a last quick look at volume that we have here for the rest of the day, as we're pretty much 2.48 billion shares. This volume is coming in very light in this last hour. So we're going to be wanting to watch this close very closely. But 2.5 billion shares at just about 3 o'clock. That projects out to about 3.2 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape. And we are going to have a light push. See a lot of the stocks that I have short, once again, pushing at highs with a very light volume. But maybe wrong on the index, maybe right on everything else. So I only have one index position, so maybe I'll be okay. And I put that on in the last big move. So we'll have to see. Some of these I am on the wrong side of, but just not a whole lot so far. So I'm going to be watching it closely, and I am expecting some kind of pullback. Maybe Russia actually invades the Ukraine tonight. I don't know what else could come out of left field. Maybe there is something new to be had there, but it won't be it. You come here, we'll go. He's got to tell me whether it's still good. I don't want to spend my money at Batista's if it's not like it used to be. Right across from the ballets. But it was the old mob hangout. If you ever saw the casino, they go into a kind of a small, dingy restaurant. Looks just like it right out of the kind of mob hangout places, all the mobsters, pictures on the walls and stuff. Anyway, 2.5 billion shares, 3.2 billion probably for the end of the day, and seeing a lot of these stocks pop on light volume. See if we have about half a second to go here. So not enough time to do any of the rest of my stocks justice out here, but I'm going to have to scratch my head on this breakout and see whether it can last. Maybe it just holds up here for a day or two. Maybe volume comes in tomorrow and we start seeing this thing move. But right now, I'm going to have to say this thing is at least a failure on volume today. And a lot of my stocks that I am short looking like they are failing once again today on volume. So we will see tomorrow what is wrought. Anyway, hang on for Andy stalking me as usual. And I will see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.